All right, back for the second installment of the season recaps here for MNCAA. We've got your Mankato Mavericks with me here, Alex Micheletti, Marissa Voss, as always, to break down really the good, the bad, the ugly, what we saw this past season, and what we can expect looking forward to next season. How are we doing?
Good. Yeah, it was, it was a quick end of the season for the Mavericks. But to make it to the NCAA tournament, it's always it's always fun. You'd rather be in that position than your season ending, in the conference tournament. So to even make it to Fargo was awesome, and so yeah, proud of how far the team got, especially after how many guys left and after last season and losing Dryden McKay, the Hobie Baker winner. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of this team and how far they got.
The juicer for sure. And I mean, Marissa, you know all about that now out in Nebraska covering the Huskers. Those were not corn-fed boys. Those were juicers, and I have no problem that's how they won national championships. I love it. How are things for you?
Things are good for me. Nebraska got it going to a spring game, and then on Saturday, and then on Sunday, going to the Wild playoff game. Wanted to go Friday, couldn't make it work, so I'm gonna have extreme FOMO. Everyone there, but other than that, everything's going good here in Husker Nation. It's just they love their football, and I'm tempted to wear a Gopher sweatshirt on Saturday when I go, just to be a little dick.
Yeah, honestly, like most Nebraska fans really won't care, to be honest. And this is going to be dropping, of course, as people listen to this past weekend. Marissa went to the game, and
Yes.
we can only assume that means her going to game 4 that she got to watch Marc-Andre Fleury in that, because we're just going with the rotation because that's what we've done all year. Obviously,
that.
You'll all have already seen the outgrowth of that on her Twitter page. So we'll just leave that be. But let's jump in here. We'll start with you, Micheletti. I want to get into just, based on your expectations coming into the year, because we saw ups and downs, right? We saw the team ended. They got as high as what, like 5 or 6 in the rankings, maybe even higher. I don't know. But based on what you expected coming in, what would you give a letter grade to the Mankato Mavericks for this hockey season in total?
Yeah, you'd have to give it a B, I think, in my opinion. Like I mentioned right before this, they lost a lot of talent off that team. Guys that made NHL debuts. To lose a guy like Dryden McKay and Nathan Smith, and a guy that was super underrated, Julian Napravnik. To make it to the NCAA tournament I was kind of surprised. And it goes to show you how well of a coach, that Mike Hastings is. He willed that team to get to the NCAA tournament and to win another McNaughton Cup and Mason Cup. It was, they exceeded expectations in my opinion.
Okay. And Marissa, I don't know if you were going to go with a B as well, but I'm taking that off the table. If you were going to say B,
no, I wasn't.
He's bumped to B+ or B-. So tell me, what's the letter grade then based on your expectations coming into the year?
I think a solid C+, right? Could have been better, could have been worse. Obviously, when they went on that tear and they got better after the winter break, that is where everything, because if we're just judging on the beginning of the season, that would have been like a D. And then they came back after the winter break and really just showed everyone up and showed who their true colors and who they were. So definitely gets bumped up to a C+, just because the resilience, the adversity that they faced, just an uphill battle. But again, I think the reason why is if they would have started and even lost maybe like, let's say 1 to 2, 3 games, or, just not as many as they did in the beginning of the season, it would be a little bit of a different tale in my opinion. But then we wouldn't have had, the adversity. We wouldn't have the storyline that we had. But overall, just a little bit of maybe a Natty Champ hangover in a sense. A lot of people weren't expecting. So this season was full of ups and downs, trials, tribulations. But overall, I was shocked they made it to the tournament, to be honest with you. So,
okay, fair enough. And we'll go right back to you then, Marissa. Did it feel better to beat the Gophers at home, or did it feel worse to lose to St. Thomas at home?
Probably to lose to St. Thomas. It is kind of a loaded question because obviously, like, if you beat the Gophers, like that was it's such a big thing, and obviously how stacked they were this year and how everything was. But with the St. Thomas blow, I think nobody was really expecting that, and it just kind of was like, yeah, I know St. Thomas is good this year, and I know Rico's doing some things, Rico, but it just felt a little bit of a sting just because they still aren't the best squad, in my opinion. I don't know if Alex agrees with that, but I don't know. It's a hard question, Javi. I don't know how to feel about that. Like, I feel like, yeah, I was super excited, but at the same time, that's just how this season went. I think you were super excited, and then you weren't, and then you were upset, and then you were sad, and then you were angry, and then you were overjoyed. It was just like this roller coaster of emotions that I can't even describe. Yep.
Yeah, like she said, it was a roller coaster of a season. I think when they were planning this roster, they were expecting a lot more different things. When they recruited Alex Tracy, he ended up being the goaltender of the year in the USHL, which is the best U.S. junior league. And, that was amazing that they were able to get him, to try to replace Dryden McKay. And then he comes in and he struggles. And then they, switch to Keenan Rancier. And he was, diamond in the rough, and, he was biding his time to take over, because he had to sit pretty much all, the previous year, behind Dryden. And kudos to Keenan for doing that, because one guy that, couldn't handle that was Jackson Stauber, and he transferred after playing only one game, and, he made it to the NHL. Good for him. But, I was proud of the way Keenan developed, and, he's going to have a battle this, this summer and into the fall, because, Alex Tracy was Luke Strand, the new head coach's junior goalie. So they have that relationship. So, yeah, it was interesting. And, they battled through a ton of injuries, losing a leadership guy in Sam Morton, who was leading the team in goals. He tore his ACL. And they also had Simon Tassi, who was the BCHL MVP, who tore his ACL in their playoffs. And so coming into the year, they didn't have him. And so, yeah, they had to fight through so much more adversity. And, kind of like Marissa said, I think it was tougher to lose to St. Thomas because, they were used to just every year previous, just sweeping teams, left and right. And this year they were the team getting swept. Getting swept by Ferris at home was really tough.
Catastrophic.
Yes, my famous words, that Harrison will never let me, let down. But yeah, it was good podcast moment for sure. But the bright side is, the league got a lot better too. We needed it too, and it makes the league more fun. We're gonna have another team join it this fall in Augustana, and Garrett Boyne is a heck of a coach. He's building that program, and so it's gonna be fun to see the Mavs play them, and hopefully create a rivalry with them. And it's interesting times in Maverick hockey, but it's exciting. It's a new era. Looking forward to it. And but it's fun to look back at this era with Mike Hastings, and it was a heck of a last run to make it to the NCAA tournament, and crazy finish to the winning MacNaughton, and crazy last couple minutes in that Mason Cup to win it too. So lots of fun
for sure. And looking back at the season, like good or bad, who were one or two players for each of you that really like stood out as kind of catching your attention, surprising you?
Oh my God, Sam Morton probably is a big one in my eyes, just because last year covering the team, he was a playmaker. He got involved, but I wouldn't say for me personally that he was, and then I'm not talking like this last year, I'm talking the year before when I was covering them. I didn't think that he was that big of a playmaker again, like I said, but this year really came into his own before his injury. If he wouldn't have gotten injured, and that he would have had a stud year. And I think him coming back and saying he wants to do it again is such an amazing thing. And for him to say, hey, I'm not leaving this team. Like, I made a commitment. Here's what we're doing. Sam Warren just really stood out to me. And then another one that kind of sucks because he's gone now, right? No matter what he left or didn't leave or whatever, but David Cilia. Or Cillier. I never know how to say it. Even though I was the team reporter, I've like forgot how to say his last name and a lot of the guys' last name. So that's crazy. But David really stood out to me because if we look at the beginning of the season, right, Brendan Furry was going to be the CCHA preseason player of the year, and that didn't pan out, unfortunately. But David stepped into his own, and he was now the CCHA player of the year last year. And he really cemented himself as somebody that we didn't think was going to happen, stepped up into the role, talk about knowing what you need to do, knowing your role, and really stepping into it, goals, assists, being that playmaker, taking that momentum, really turning around the season. David Cilia did. And it sucks to see him go, right? When I was like, I saw Bennett Smolik, I was like, whatever, it's fine. Bennett was like, not to be rude, but he was like injured half the time, like didn't ever really play. It is what it is. But to see David go was probably the one that hurt me the most. Kristen Fitzgerald, yeah. Simon Tassi had one goal, the potential of that. But to see David go because of, I think he was with us, 2 years at least? He was with us 2 years. And that's such, how do you leave the guys? How do you leave after a monster season? How do you do that? That is so crazy to me. But, he's one that really, really sucks that he left. And he's a great guy. Oh my God. Can I tell this really funny story? Okay. So David, we went to Underground because that's the guys' bar. We went to Underground, and then I rode back with the guys, and we just hung out at College Town, did whatever. And I'm sitting on like the table, just chilling. And all of a sudden I see like something fly to my head. I'm like, what the heck? And then I hear snickering going, and I was like, what's going on? So that keeps happening for like 20 minutes. And David Cilia and Will Hillman are throwing potato chips in my hair. And I swear to God, funniest moment of my life, I look at them, and then he just starts like apologizing profusely to me. And I was like, it's a joke. So that's just the type of person David is and what he brings to this team. He's a goofball. He's funny, but he's sweet. And I'm going to miss him on the squad because he was awesome to cover.
Now, if I told you there were rumors that David actually left specifically because Marissa Voss didn't know how to pronounce his name, how would you feel?
I'd be heartbroken. Sorry, David. It is what it is. If I butchered your name, you should have said something. And who are the Mavs? I don't know what to tell you. I would break my heart but then it's like, okay, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. It makes sense. It's fine.
Fair.
It's Cilia. It's silly. The thing is, people pronounce it wrong too. It's like Cillier, and I don't think it's Cillier. I think it's David Cilia. I'm going to go with that. David Cilia. That's what I'm going with. It's 100%.
Super confident.
That's it. That's it. I had a brief lapse of judgment.
You just have to be confident.
Yeah. Wait. Which one is it, Marissa? What's the correct?
David Cilia.
You just said it was Cillier.
No, I said Cillier is wrong. It's Cilia.
Tomato.
Potato.
Yeah.
Tomato.
Stop having a weird last name, David. Just have a straight one like Voss. Fucking weirdo.
Are you proposing to him and asking?
No, he has a girlfriend.
What's her last name?
We're getting really deep.
Oh my God! I just
a big like feminist struggle here for Marissa Voss. Okay. All right, she's unplugging her headphones.
I got so nervous.
Yeah.
Anyone she missed? Like, who's someone big that we haven't talked about yet?
Well,
oh my God.
Well, I mean, she brought up Christian Fitzgerald, but another guy, probably the best name in college hockey, or one of the best, Campbell Psychos. This guy, incredible story. He played third tier junior to begin his junior career. That's below the NAHL. It's the NA3HL, and to make it from there to Division I college hockey, it's incredible because not a lot of players are have the capabilities to make it from there. And so kudos, he eventually got to the NAHL and then was recruited by Todd Connaught. But he wasn't expected to do much, and he ended up, by the end of the season, he was in the top 4, playing big minutes. And a kid from Albert Lee, small, Southern school, and so pretty cool story. And his career is only going to continue to get bigger, and he's going to have a huge role, even more minutes than he probably even imagined, with 4 guys moving on, a couple guys signing pro contracts that are, doing really well in the NHL. I'm happy for Akito Rossi and Jake Livingstone. They both picked 2 schools or 2 teams where they probably have a good chance to make it full time in the NHL next season. So happy for those guys. But yeah, I would say Camel Psychos. It's a great name. I love saying it.
That is a fun name.
Yes.
Nice, you can say that. I can't say David.
Yeah, but I'm gonna miss a guy like Christian Fitzgerald. I mean, he had double digits as a freshman. He's gonna do great things at Wisconsin. It was another diamond in the rough find by Todd Connaught. I'm gonna miss Todd, Notter too. Great guy. Great for the program, but he's moving on to better and brighter things. So we'll see how that ends up with him and Hasty.
Not better and brighter things. We're gonna say more money.
I
money.
was just gonna say that. Better and brighter things, aka more money.
I'm trying to be civil.
You
it's
are.
Tough,
I am not. That one hurt.
Call a spade a spade. Like, it's not a disrespect thing. If I were in their shoes, if you look at Hastings' bonus,
it's life-changing money. Yeah, you're right.
Could be more than what he was making at Mankato.
Yeah,
I'd fucking leave too. I don't care what my allegiance.
Country club membership too. That was bananas. Seeing that,
what?
I couldn't believe
he had
that.
a country club membership.
They're paying for and his car too.
In fairness, though, Mankato would have done the same if there was a country club. So
it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
We don't have that. I mean, we have the Mankato Golf Club, which is kind of low key the same thing, I guess.
I would like to see what this is in Madison. Yeah, I'm sure it's super nice.
Well, so let's rip the Band-Aid off, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it happened. I want to hear, like, candidly. I'll start with you, Micheletti.
Yeah.
Give me like a scale of 1 to 10. What did you think the possibility was of Mike Hastings leaving as soon as the season ended and the rumors started spiraling around all of the coaches that could go to Wisconsin?
Yeah, it was a 2 out of 10 for me. I was, chatting with my dad, and he said, Mike's probably going to leave. I was like, no way. And then he kept telling me Brett Larson, and then I thought Brett was the hire. And then I heard Brett was still recruiting for St. Cloud in California, and so I was like, no, it's not going to be Brett. And then when the Bucci tweet came out, because he was the first to have it before anybody, I could not believe it. And they have the Big Ten money, and that is powerful to not turn down. And so it moved super fast too. I was completely shocked. It's tough, and for them to take, 3 of the best players on the team, it's painful, and taking Notter too. I was shocked that not turned it down. But what my dad was saying too, sometimes these guys are just more comfortable being the recruiter. You look at Steve Miller at Minnesota. He is Bob's right-hand man and is bringing in elite talent. From the national development team, and not this coming season, but they're going to have probably the number 1 pick in 2024. So watch out, Gophers. They're just going to reload. But it's sometimes you're just more comfortable not running the program. I would love the chance to, but teach their own. So interesting choice.
I mean, based on your comments, is it reasonable for me to say that a line has been crossed by Father Pat of all people?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I was shocked. He got me a couple times, and now he continues to get me and Dan Myers going. Pretending like he's the biggest Maverick guy in the world. So it's good. I love the banter between programs.
Oh, and I'm sure you haven't told them yet, but that's literally the only way I'm going to refer to him moving forward is Father Pat. Legendary, the most underrated Will Ferrell film ever. But all right, Marissa, be honest. We got a 2 out of 10 from Alex. What did you think the possibility was of Mike Hastings taking this job?
I thought, lower, 1 out of 10, because the sole reason is there was somebody on the inside. I'm not going to like out him or anything, but he works with the team in a sense. And I talked to him literally before they left for Fargo, or even the selection show was before the selection show. And I was like, hey, like, heard some rumblings, heard some things. Like, even before that, like, I was just like, this is totally rumors, I know, but like, what do you think of this? And he goes, there's no way Hastings leaving. I've seen how he is at practice. I've seen how he is before the tournament, before the selection show. He's like, there's just no way, like, and then I called him because I had like a certain question or something, and I called him after it happened or whatever, and I go, oh my God, what happened? And he was like, I am shell shocked. Like, I have no idea. So nobody even on this, like, nobody inside knew. Nobody knew what was going on. And, again, people who I've come forward and I've talked to that have worked within that organization, who I used to work with, were like, we had no idea that he was going to leave. And I remember seeing the fact that he left, like the graphic or like from Alex or somebody, and I called my dad immediately and I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, what, Marissa? And I was like, yeah, Mike Hastings left. And he kind of was like, oh, it's Big Ten money. Like, he wasn't as surprised. But for me, it was just a shell shock because I've seen how he is in the locker room. I've seen how he is behind the scenes. I have seen his work ethic and how much he loves this team and loves the boys and everything. And yes, I wasn't there this last year to see it. So maybe there were things behind closed doors that could happen that I didn't know. But when I was covering, he was all about the Mavericks and he loved it and he loved the team. And it was just never a thought in my mind of him leaving because I've seen what he's done, him and Todd Connaught and the guys and everybody else. It was just still crazy to me that it's happened. Sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, what? But then I look at the money and I look at how much he's making, like $3.75 million over 5 years. That makes sense. With the bonuses and the country clubs and the thing, like, it's just, and like the amenities and everything, like I get it, but you have to do what you have to do, I guess, for your career and do stuff. I feel like I was low-key more shocked to see that Nodder turned it down, considering he wanted to be a head coach over at Augustana and did interviews. So what happened there with that dream and that ambition and that goal? Sometimes, like Alex said, maybe he was just more comfortable being an assistant coach and being a recruiter. We'll never know unless he comes out and says it, which he probably won't, because that's just not how Todd rolls. So really sad to lose him, though, because, man, I loved Todd Connaught. Like, I remember game days, I'm getting film, and all of a sudden you hear Todd going, this is our great facility. Like, this is our, like, home, where, like, look at how great it is at home games. And he's giving tours to potential recruits at home games, like, while, like, the guys are literally lining up to do, like, their stuff. So it's just, honestly, it's just fucking crazy. Like, it's nuts.
I mean, as the great stand-up comedian Daniel Tosh once parodied, people say, you can't buy happiness. Really? Because money can buy a wave runner.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes. Yes.
It's so true, though.
I do love, though, how Marissa very subtly dropped in there. Like, you got to piece through it a little bit, read between the lines. But basically, she's saying that the second that she wasn't brought back, she was the glue that held the team together, and she's the reason that Mike Hastings is probably gone.
It is kind of crazy how, we part our ways and we do our thing, and all of a sudden everyone's leaving. I don't know, man. I plead the fifth. I have no comment. I just think it's funny. How
do you follow that one up? Though the hardest part was seeing like the Wisconsin graphics and the videos and the hype machine. That has been tough. The behind the scenes with their media arm, him meeting with the team and walking the halls in the Badger gear. That has been the toughest part for sure. I don't think I'll ever get over that. But I mean, he brought a ton of memories. I was still in school right at the end of the Troy Jutting, beginning of Mike Hastings era, and it was dark, before he took over. And so to see where the program was before or when I was in school, and then to what it is now, 10, 11 years later. It's incredible. They're on the national spotlight now. And so we'll see you in this new era. Hopefully they can keep it going. It's a tough act to follow for sure. But I'm excited to, sometimes change is necessary, and we'll see where it leads to, but it's exciting for sure too.
Yeah, I think the graphics part of it, like, again, like you said, and then just seeing like all the people that have left, like we have Mike going, okay, and then you have Nodder, and then you've got Christian, and then you've got David, and then you've got Simon Tassi, and now all of a sudden you've got Luke Regner, and now you've got Anna Wilgren going to the women's side. Like, what is going on? Like, continually just that slow burn is probably what was the worst thing to happen, because the entire time that was happening, I was like, ricochet, shot in the chest. Like, who is he? Like, literally, like Paul Kirkland is, if he's still like just gonna show up to the office. Like,
well, shout out to Paul Kirkland. He got a recruit without the head coach. That was incredible. I've never seen something like that where, he, his contract is up in June. So he's kind of in limbo, but he was still recruiting for the school. They got a guy from Denver without, not even knowing who the head coach is going to be. So it's pretty cool. And Tyler Haskins, and they're trying to get guys here that, maybe weren't playing as much, or were injured, guys with chips on their shoulders, and, guys that are going to be offered, a ton of playing time, and you kind of like that. I think this team is going to be scrappy. It's going to be guys, the guys that stayed are going to be rewarded. Another chance to win a McNaughton and a Mason Cup, and it's kind of cool that they had 10 guys there at Luke Strand's press conference being introduced, and I like that loyalty. It's nice to see in this day and age with the transfer portal, because the entire team could have gone in there, but there was guys that unfinished business, and I loved I posted it, or Marissa found it, but I got it out there to the masses. But Conor Grega's Instagram post with him checking a gopher, and then tagging Bennett, Simon Tassi, and Fitzgerald. That was fantastic.
He was he could have tagged David, but David doesn't have socials.
Yeah. Good on David. In this day and age,
spell or pronounce the last name, so that doesn't help.
Yes.
Now, it refreshed me. You said the Underground is the go-to bar, right?
Yes, Alex. Have you ever partied at the Underground?
Oh yeah. That's one of the few remaining from when I was still there. R.I.P. Red Rocks, and is South Street even still there?
Yeah, South Street's still popping.
Okay, all right. Thank goodness. Yeah. So
I hate
downtown Mankato is underrated for sure.
I hate to take this to a dark place, but the next announcement that's dropping on Twitter is that the Underground has relocated to Madison.
No. Oh.
Yes, they've been sponsored by the university.
I seriously think I would pass away. The amount of times I have been in that bar with hockey players, like that was our spot. Like, and that still is the spot for some reason, probably because they're treated like gods at Underground, and they it's just how it is. Oh my God. If Underground moved to Madison.
No, pause. We're going to elaborate on it. Just is what it is. What's that mean?
I mean, I just think Mankato really treats these guys like very well. Like, when you're a hockey player at Mankato and at MSU, and it's not even like under the table, it's not like stuff like that. It's just like people love them. People love it because they're a Division I sport. They're the only Division I sport, and they're MSU hockey players. So people just hype around it, and they have a lot of fun with it. And that is seen, with everything, and how the fan base goes to the Frozen Four and the national championship. And people love the hockey players. Like, it's not even, it's crazy.
There's nothing better than after a game on Saturday night when the team sweeps, downtown is absolutely buzzing.
Yes.
Some of my best memories in college were working for the team and then going out with the team, to
Mhm.
Blue Bricks, all the bars down there, going from bar
Y'all
to
went to
bar.
Blue Bricks?
And that was the spot too when I was there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was beating a rival, sweeping the Gophers. They did it a couple times when I was in school there, and afterwards too. It was awesome. Those, like you said, those guys are the talk of the town, and when they're winning, there's nothing better.
Oh my
It's so much fun. That that arena's been through a couple of name changes too. It's always something different. But I love that city. It's underrated for sure.
What a flex would it be?
What?
Hastings decided that he was going to buy the naming rights to the rink because he's got all the money now.
Think about that.
Epic.
Welcome back to the Mike Hastings Arena.
Oh my goodness. That would just be
power move central.
Oh my God. I can
or if Wisconsin just decided, like, you know what, let's just go full heel. Let's do this.
There we go.
And they paid for it. That'd just be incredible. But now that we've pivoted back from happiness to darkness, I want to ask you both. We'll start with you, Alex.
Yeah.
Times got dark. We all felt it. We all saw it. It was very not fun for a stretch there. Let's talk about some of the Twitter accounts and give them shout outs. The ones that helped us get through the darkness by giving us a little entertainment. Like, give me one, and then we'll kind of bounce back and forth between you and Marissa.
Yeah, this guy is a Twitter MVP, and I've encouraged him to keep, posting big bag of knuckles. This guy is a legend. He had the amazing post with his kid wearing the Wisconsin jersey and chasing him out. And he's found funny movie clips and things like that to post when there's been bad news, and he always cracks me up. He's always DMing me asking about, is this guy gonna come? I love it. That you need people like that to get you through tough times and just. I mean, every day when Hastings left, it was bad news after bad news. So to have jokes like that and have people like that, it's awesome. And so I hope he keeps it up. It's been fun and fun to see his Twitter following grow, and that's an MVP for me.
Yeah, for me, that's the one I was gonna say. So
I apologize. Sorry.
No, you're good. I love that you highlighted him, but I think probably another one. Obviously, this one is a known one. Dan Myers. Love what he does. Love how he does things. Obviously, he's a huge Maverick fan, but one that is a little bit underrated is Boblin Mavericks. I think that's how you pronounce it. He goes to every single game. MSU athletics. When I couldn't watch the CCHA games, right? When I couldn't watch the cup or whatever, he was doing pictures and posting scores, and that was so awesome to see because I was living from that. I was just like, okay, like I'm gonna try to find it somewhere. So that was awesome, and he goes to every single game, and he's got his little son, and building the tradition and really showing why the sports are so important and MSU is so important, because he brings his son to like everything, right? To meet the head coach. I think he met Luke and took some pictures, and that is just so humbling to me, just because he's awesome and he loves MSU athletics. Like, it's not even just like hockey, it's like all of them, and he's got trading cards and he's got this whole thing. So the dedication of him is like real big.
Love it. There's one that needs to be talked about. Maybe, Alex, you've got this one locked up. Are we going to talk about our favorite musician who, from the heavens, he delivered on my request for a delightful song?
Yeah, our guy Steve, another incredible account. It's been fun to see his Twitter following grow too, and we've tried to highlight him. Amazing. He's had amazing songs. He had one video that just absolutely cracked me up. He had this hat on, and he said, "Don't worry, Drydo. We'll find somebody in his shrine of Dryden McKay." He's just another character. These Mankato fanatics. It's fun to see them and their pride in this team. And so that's definitely another account that needed some love. He is a character for sure. It was fun. He had a picture. He was like on a drive to work, and the semi, it was like Badger like trucking or something. You just so some of those cracks you up for sure. So yeah, love Steve.
And this isn't about my sadness. It's about your guys' sadness. So I won't go too far off, but I had the perfect song queued up that I was going to ask him to do a parody of for the Gophers winning the Natty. Obviously it didn't work for me, but man, his parody of the song from The Hangover, and then immediately delivering on my request for 5,000 candles. Oh my.
Electric.
Fantastic.
It was incredible. That guy is the best. I've already like got him tabbed as like, if I come up with like some kind of like loose idea for a parody song, I'm just going to like give it to him and he'll fill in the gaps.
Yeah, 100%. It's entertaining, and we need stuff like that in college hockey too. Kids, it's a niche sport and a niche fan base, and so to have characters like that, it adds everything to it, and to have a platform like Twitter for them to showcase it, it's great, and so hopefully we see more from them in the future.
For sure. I know we just hit on the big dogs. Any that you think we're missing, or are we moving on to the final couple pieces here?
Yeah, one more guy, a great friend of the podcast. He listens. Is Drew Clausen. He used to write for the USCHO, and is a big Maverick fan. And he had one of the best memes ever was the Zambonis leaving the Civic Center, in Wisconsin logo. That Hasty was taking the Zambonis with them. That one, we really needed, because that was the day that everybody started to go into the portal. So it was just bam, 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 and I remember that day because a couple hours before I said, I was like, Maverick fans, it's great. No one's in the portal. And then Slosh had the, his transfer portal updates, and it was, Tassie's gone, Fitzgerald's gone, and Smolek has entered. Yeah. And Notter was turning down job. So yeah, it was nice to have that tweet from Drew to laugh at for sure.
Yeah, that was a rough day. I remember getting the first one of Bennett, and then I was like, no, I was so dramatic. Like, I was just like, I threw my phone down. And then if I knew, like, in that moment that we would lose, like, all the other guys.
Jinx. I couldn't believe it. I was like, everybody's leaving. I was like, oh my goodness.
I don't think we've ever had that too. MSU has never truly had a position where guys have left from the transfer portal. I think we've gotten guys from the transfer portal, like, Ben Mass and Josh Grohl and David.
Yeah, my dad calls him Dave Grohl, so it's funny.
So that's literally the thing. Like, we haven't had anybody leave from the transfer portal. So we've gotten them. So I think that was another thing to have 4 leave in one day. Yeah,
it was incredible. Yeah. It's tough, crazy. But this day and age, another crazy part of college hockey is the transfer portal, but also guys having COVID years and being able to play a 5th year. That's never happened in the past, and it's something that we're almost done with, but still guys have the option. So it was nice to have a guy like Lucas Sauter being able to come back because of the COVID year. Same thing with Sam Morton. I think he's going to use like his red shirt, but he has a COVID year too. So good to see some guys, saying, I want to be a Maverick. And, we had that awesome quote from that I was able to put on Twitter from Kevin Dudley that talked to Sam and said, this is my family. The Mavericks are my family. So that was really cool. And it was cool to see alumni see that from my tweet and talk about, staying Matt Leitner. So yeah, it was cool for sure.
Man. Where do we go from here?
I don't know. Yeah.
What do we expect? What do we expect,
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the direction we're going here, but I'm going to be a little bit more direct with it, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, where are we setting the bar for next year? Like, what do we need to eclipse for a successful year? And if we fall short of it, it's an unsuccessful year. Because obviously we're moving the goalposts to an extent, but we've got a very interesting, like you said, more parity in the CCHA. Teams are getting better. We've seen the top teams lose a little bit. Like, is this the most parity we've seen in the CCHA? And where now do we adjust and say, this is the expectation for a quote unquote successful season?
Yeah, they have a target on their back. These other teams smell blood in the water. They see a vulnerable team, but like I talked about too, there's going to be a ton of guys on this team with chips on their shoulders and guys that are going to be in roles that they've never been in, and they've relished. To make it to a Division I team, you were coming from you were probably your best player on your junior team or high school team, and so you were the man. And you come to college hockey, and it's tough. That jump is really tough for some guys, and some guys never can get over it. And some guys,
some Micheletti don't get there until they're 25, right?
Yes,
yeah, exactly. Like what the Badgers are going to be like.
I hope with Coach Strand that changes. But if that recruiting philosophy doesn't change, it was very successful. It got him to back-to-back Frozen Fours. So, yeah, like you said though. But I root for guys like that too, that that have chips on their shoulders and come from out of nowhere. And so we'll see. They're going to be hungry to try to win another McNaughton and try to win another Mason Cup. But expectations, I think have to obviously be a little bit lower. We don't even know the rest of the coaching staff yet. So they need to get that figured out. They have to figure out if they're going to keep some of these big time recruits and Aaron Pionk, who our buddy Veach is clamoring to get to be a Bulldog, and Cade Littler. We'll see. He was a Calgary Flames draft pick, and so there's some other big time recruits that they're that Coach Strand and Paulie Kirtland are trying to keep. So we'll see. I hope if they don't win another cup, that they finish in the upper half and they get home ice. Home ice in the playoffs is always is a goal. So I hope they at least can get that if they don't win the title.
Okay, so the bar is being a host of an opening round series.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, that's what. Yes, yeah.
No. I'm not correcting you. I'm just kind of reiterating it here. Marissa, is that the same bar for you, or do you have higher or lower expectations based on what we're dealing with here?
Well, I'm a pessimist at heart, people, so I can't be optimistic. I'm going lower, right? I am just hoping for a 500 season. I'm hoping that we go above 500, and I'm hoping it is a winning season, right? I'm not expecting us to win the McNaughton Cup. I'm not expecting us to win the Mason Cup. I am just expecting this team to have a rebuilding year, but have a successful maybe rebuilding year. It's going to be a lot, and I don't think people understand. Remember last year, again, it was a lot when Dryden left, and then us just figuring out the goaltender between Alex Tracy and Keenan Ranciere. Now we have a new coach. And we're going to have a new assistant coach, and we're going to have to figure out who's our new captain and who are these people that need to step up. And we're going to have to get some players, and there's just big question marks right now. And we're going to have to give time for the, Luke Strand and the soon to be assistant coach or whoever that's joining Luke and joining potentially Paul, to mesh with the guys and really meet with them. And I know that there have been, I know Luke met with them one-on-one. I think he's met with every player one-on-one and kind of had, a conversation and talked about it, which is important as a head coach. But you're going to have to mesh with, how does Luke play? What is his style? What is his defense? Mike Hastings was a defensive-minded head coach sometimes, in my opinion. He was very heavy on the defense, and that was what he shined. What does Luke do best? Does he offense? Is he defense? Yeah, okay, good. So it's basically like a Mike Hastings 2.0.
I'm super pumped. Ohio State had the best penalty kill in the country this past season, so he is the PK guru. Steve Rollick said, "I let Luke handle the PK, and it did wonders for that team." And heck, I mean, he had a defenseman, Mason Lohrei, sign with the Bruins that our buddy Spoke Z is super pumped about, and their goalie Dobish, Jacob Dobish, signed with the Canadians, and he's the heir apparent to Carey Price there. So they Ohio State had an exciting season, and Coach Strand had a big part in their success this past season. So we'll see if it can carry over to the Mavs. It's obviously going to be different personnel, but the scheme is there, and so I'm excited. It's not always the most exciting hockey to watch, defensive hockey, but it can win you a ton of games. It can lead to big time contract extensions, which it did for Mike Hastings, and look where he is now. So I'm excited for the Strand era to start for sure.
Yeah, I mean, count down the days and try and guess which Big Ten program Strand's going to end up with. I like it. What if I told both of you? First recap that I did was with our boy Steger, Ryan
Steegs.
His bold prediction.
I love it.
Is that the University of St. Thomas will also be hosting an opening series in the conference tournament.
I love it. I love it. And I think it's going to happen because of the sole fact of you've seen the trajectory of what St. Thomas has done. Like last year, I think like in the beginning of the year for MNCAA, I was like, they're not going to be the worst team in the conference. Like they're not. And that came to be true. They obviously beat MSU. I think that this is going to be a really powerful squad, and that is a bold take. I don't know how bold it is, but I really like it because I like St. Thomas, and I think in the next couple of years, they're going to be one of the best teams in the CCHA.
Yeah, shout out to my guy Leon Howard. He is doing a phenomenal job recruiting for St. Thomas. They're plucking out a lot of guys from the transfer portal, and I'm excited to see how this team does in the fall. I love what Rico's doing too. They're that new arena they're getting in a couple of years is going to be huge for recruiting, and I'm excited. There was a kid named Ryder Donovan who was at Wisconsin, took a year off, but transferred into the portal there. He's going to be their first draft pick on their team because he was drafted by the Vegas Golden Knights a couple of years ago. So I'm excited to see that all the fresh talent that they're bringing in, and Stieg has been pretty good with his predictions lately. So he was the only one that had Quinnipiac out of this group of who was going to win the title. So shout out to our,
of course, number 2 team in the country.
Right. None of us thought it. None of us did. He's like, they're gonna win, and we're all like, you're crazy. You're delusional.
Shout out to Leon and Enrico for interacting with our pod too. It's cool that they listen, and are one of the first teams to show us love. So thank you, Rico, and thank you, Leon.
Rico.
Great. So let's close this out then, guys. Unless you have any other thoughts, we can certainly touch on after. But I asked Stieg, and I'll tell you what he said after you guys go. Marissa's all but said that Mankato is not winning the CCHA. Micheletti, you're still up in the air. We'll see.
Yeah.
I want to hear who you think is going to win the tournament this year.
Who is going to win the tournament this year?
What I asked.
Yeah, and I'm thinking. I personally think that with Blake being back, I think it's either going to be, and this is just, I know this is a hot take, but I either think it's going to be Northern Michigan or it's going to be Michigan Tech. I think either one of the two, and that is my prediction. I probably would leave Michigan Tech just because Blake is going to be back and he's going to want to prove himself because of the showing that he had in the tournament, how bad that was. So I think that's the case because I think Vanderbeck is gone from the Wildcats, so that's also going to be one. But those are the two that I would keep an eye on. Obviously, Beavers think that they're going to be that team this year too. So obviously but I'm just going to go Michigan Tech. I'm just going to throw it in. And if it's not right, it's not right, but we're going to go Michigan Tech.
Yeah, if it's not the Mavericks, because I think the story is incomplete right now. We gotta see who's the assistant coach is gonna be, and there's still guys to grab from the transfer portal. But if it's not the Mavericks, watch out Bowling Green. I love what Ty Egner is building there. They have a guy in Austin Swankler that could be playing in the NHL right now, but he decided to come back. He is a heck of a hockey player. He's an interesting story because he played major junior in Canada, but they were able to, get him. He appealed to play college hockey. I don't know how they were able to get him eligible, but because if you play major junior, you have to sit out. But they were able to, to clear him, and he's had
as using banned substances in college.
Right. I don't know. I have to dig deeper into how they got him eligible, but they got him eligible, and he could have left, but he decided to come back, and I think he definitely will be the preseason player in the conference. He's so much fun to watch. But I'm not going to count out the Mavericks. They're the top dog until someone knocks them off. So, we'll see what happens for sure.
Well, what if I told you that one of you agreed with the Oracle, Steger?
I would say it's probably not me. Or is it me?
It's probably Marissa.
No, who is it?
You said Bowling Green.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's Alex. There we go, buddy.
Yeah, I knew. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, Steger follows the league just like I do, and just the rosters and everything. And so, yeah, I'm glad we were on the same page.
That's hilarious. I was like, it's not going to be me, and you're like, it's you. I was like, no. The Michigan Tech one, I'm like, it's not going to be me.
They have the goalie, but I don't know. I don't trust their offense. They're losing a lot, and their coach gives me weird vibes. I mean, he basically destroyed his team, after the game that they weren't prepared. It's like, well, isn't that your job to prepare your team for the NCAA tournament?
I literally was just like, let's just throw it out there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. It's an interesting league. You don't know. I love Bemidji. I love this. The Saratori family is amazing, and they have Mike Gibbons up there now coaching with Saratori. So, but I just love what that Bowling Green team. When you were working with the Mavs too, Marissa, all the epic battles that the Mavericks and the Falcons have had. I think they had a little dip there, but now they have a little resurgence. I think they'll be battling it out with the Mavs for sure.
Okay. I mean, any closing thoughts? Anything else that we didn't hit on that you guys feel like we need to hit on?
No, this has been the most drama that this Maverick hockey program has had in a long time. And there's a lot of moving parts still. Being Coach Strand, he's got a ton on his plate. He has to hire a director of hockey operations. That's a huge,
crazy.
People don't think that's it's a big job, and it's not as high paying as the other roles. But I mean, you have to get travel, you have to get hotels. I mean, that's and when you're a team like Mankato, you're not flying everywhere like the Gophers in Wisconsin. You're bussing, and so figuring out that and then getting an assistant coach. And another thing that we didn't touch on, but I'm glad I remember right at the end here is the NCAA is going to allow a third assistant or third paying coaching role. Okay. It's not mandatory, but no team has hired like a third coach yet. I think everybody's waiting to see is the school going to provide does the school want to pay for a third coach? So we'll see once one team does it. Like you take a look at a school like Minnesota. they have a guy, a grad coach right there in Paul Martin. They could hire him. They have the money to do it. It'd be cool to see if they do that and see if they hire him. Does that drop the ball? Make every other school do it. But the schools have to pony up too. So we'll see. Another interesting. Just add to the drama of college hockey too.
Watch Paul Kirtland leave.
He recruited without a head coach, so I've never seen somebody do something like that. So shout out to Paul Kirtland. I know he follows this podcast too, and thankful for everything that he's done. Since he was hired and kept trying to keep these guys Mavericks. It's a tough when you're. I know another thing is dealing with advisors. They want their guys to sign pro contracts because then they get paid. It's an interesting part of college hockey too. Agents, but they have to be known as advisors till they sign.
I hate Wisconsin more than either of you can possibly comprehend.
Oh, I hate it.
But
I hate Wisconsin.
Honestly, I'm sorry, I feel bad, but I also don't. I would lose my absolute mind. I would laugh so hard that I would be out of tears if Wisconsin, now that opened up, they just pony up and pay ridiculous money to bring Strandon as their third coach.
Oh my God, that would actually be so funny.
Oh my God.
It'd be unbelievable. Like I can't handle this transfer portal and all that. And I'll go take the easy route to Madison.
I can be the third coach, hardly have any responsibilities, and you'll pay me the same as
I'm out.
In.
It
yes.
is so hard, and that's why I went to you. That's why it is so difficult. And they're raising a crap ton of money right now, trying to raise money for their program, and that's all it is because they're a D1 sport and a D2 college, right? And I think it would be heavily awesome, and it should be that all of Minnesota State goes D1. They're good enough. They can pull a St. Thomas. That would be such a big pull for, the program and everything else in the university. But it is hard when you're the only Division I sport at a D2 college, and you don't have the moolah, you know what I mean, to do these things, even though they've done amazing things. They've updated their weight room. I mean, it's spectacular.
Thank you, David Backus.
Yep. Thank you, David Backus. Literally, again, all of those things. But I don't know. This year is just going to be really weird. And again, it's a shell shock just have everything happen the way that it happened, especially knowing how close the guys are. It does make me wonder, though, with Connor Grega's pick, do you think there's actual hate? Do you think there is actual hate for these guys? Was that malicious? Probably not, I don't think. But is it just more being funny? Those are the things that I wonder. And I wish that I still kind of worked so I could talk to you guys and be what the fuck?
Knowing our good buddy Isha, who's a fellow Canadian like Connor, I don't know. I think the humor is there too.
Yeah.
But
wait, are you saying that Isha's funny?
No. I don't think so.
I can't wait for Isha to listen, but yeah.
Isha, you're not funny.
He cracks me up for sure. It just his love of MMA and trying to explain us MMA.
You mean wrestling?
Yes,
wrestling.
In all the different forms that none of us have any idea what they are. But I love his passion.
Siberian elbow fighting, and it was incredible.
Just absolutely watching two sweaty grown men playing wrestling and touching each other in an environment that's weird. Wrestling.
Wow,
our mutual love for Hasbulla is great too.
Oh my God. Sweaty guys just grabbing each other. Marissa, you've been in Nebraska a little bit too long.
What a line. Yeah.
Everybody here loves wrestling too, by the way. Every single guy, there's been guys that are wrestling is so awesome. How many years? And then I was an MMA fighter. I'm like, who are you? In Nebraska? Ugh, weird.
Just brilliant.
Just brilliant.
This has been incredible, guys. Everyone listening, obviously, give a follow here to our great contributors at Alex Micheletti. If you don't know how to spell it, it's like
a lot.
It's like Michelob, except instead of OB, it's like ETTI.
Yes, there we go. I love it.
That's beautiful.
And Marissa Voss. Voss, that's right. The soon-to-be last name of David Sillier. I don't know which. If he proposal, David, please let us know. You can DM Marissa directly. You can let me know. But everyone also follow, of course, at MN_NCAA. Check out our awesome partners, Northland Vodka, 7th Avenue Pizza, Waggle Golf, and Better Edge. We good here, guys?
Yeah,
great
David's
episode.
gonna
Yes.
think I'm in love with him, just like Connor Dewar.
So you're saying that it is true then?
No, it's a joke. No, it's funny.
If it's just like Connor Dewar, it sounds. Now we got a love triangle going. She can't even pick. Is it just a player thing or like
It's a hockey
college
player
hockey
thing.
and pro hockey? It's
It's a college. It's a hockey player thing. Don't tell you guys.
All right then. Well, I guess until next week here, folks. You've gotten pretty much all you can handle here from us.